Hello and welcome to a new video. I will make this one in English as well because I got some great response on the last one I made in English, so I'm actually gonna keep on doing that. But today I will talk about offlaners and what I think when I pick offlaners, and what I think is a good offlaner, and which are the niche offlaner that is really good against different strategies and stuff. Just to make clear, I don't know if I made it clear in the last video, I make these videos in one go. That's why it's a lot of and like hesitations and stuff. I like to do videos in this way because it's challenging and whatsoever. But yeah, let's get going. So, offlaners. Offlane is also called the suicide lane sometimes, and stuff like that, because it's a really dangerous lane and you have to play really defensively. That's why it's one of my main roles, because I'm a defensive player. It naturally fits my playstyle. So you want to have heroes with good defensive mechanisms to be able to survive the lane, because your main goal in that lane is to gain experience and stop the enemy team from pushing down the tier 1 tower as fast as possible. So what are some heroes with great defensive abilities in this patch 6.87? The first one that comes to mind is Faceless Void. Faceless Void has a time walk that basically makes him invulnerable. Like, he cannot be touched on the lane with the poor main shield or whatsoever. And they also have the time dilation that makes their cooldowns basically become longer. And he can, if he gets one level in time lock or whatever, he can jungle pretty decent with the Iron Talon. He's a really favored hero in this patch. So he has basically invulnerability. Time walk is basically invulnerability in early stages. Time dilation is a good, decent slow after they use their abilities. And a decent farm tool for the jungle. And of course Chronosphere is great for teamfights later on, that's why you can pick it. So he's one of the few agility heroes, that has a super defensive ability that we benefit from. But offlaners don't, you can't just think of a defensive ability like that, because then Anti-Mage has one of the greatest. Anti-Mage has Blink. Why doesn't anyone play him on the offlane? Because he needs items and farm, and that's not really something you should get on the offlane. You're just gonna get experience, so you need heroes that will exhale the game by just getting experience, basically. Other heroes that works kinda like Faceless Void is Clockwork. Has a pretty good. He's one of my favorite heroes to play on the offlane. My most played hero in this game. Power Cogs is a really good. Was really good before they nerfed it in this patch to fuck up the creep Illibrium. You cannot do it as good anymore, but you can still do it. Rocket Flare is good for fucking up pulls and stacks. You can block stacks. You can basically block stacks with this ability if you're good enough. Battery Assault is good for overextending supports, and Hookshot is good for initiates in teamfight later on. So this is like, when people say offlane, this is the first hero I think about. He's not really that good anymore and doesn't really fit into the meta. That's why I think no people really pick him in this patch. But so back to what I think about when I pick offlaner. So I'm about to pick my offlaner in my draft. What do I have in my draft? Let's say I have an Invoker. Let's say I have a Lion and I have a Lion, Invoker, and a Juggernaut. Okay, so what do I have here? If it's a cross exhort Invoker, I lack kinda the crowd control I want in a team fight. I have a Lion for sure, but Lion can't really be inside the team fight. So I need something that can really be in the middle of a team fight, controlling the fight pretty well. So for one example, Clockwork is really good for that. Beastmaster has a really good ulti for this primal role. He slows everyone and stuns a target. It's really good for being in the middle of a team fight, and he buffs the carry with Inner Beast. Another example of this is Brewmaster. Brewmaster has primal split. This is a really good ability to prolong team fights to your benefit. if you can out-sustain the enemy team so long with Brewmaster. Another hero that's really good for that is Earth Spirit. There's Axe. There's a lot of difference if you need like a oh yeah, and of course Faceless Void. There's a lot of different if you need more crowd control. But what if you are happy with what you have? Let's say you have all the CC stuns and everything, and all you need is damage. Like you need an offlaner that can give you damage. One hero that's really good for that is Beastmaster once again. Inner Beast provides more damage than you think, and every board does 60 damage. That's 120 damage for free basically. It costs you 15 mana and it's ranged and it slows. That's pretty much as good as damage as you can get on offlaner. And the Inner Beast is obviously a good DPS increaser for both you and your boards and your allies. So that's why it's a good damage if you need damage basically. Another offlaner is good for that is Legion Commander. If you feel like you have the crowd control enough and you can be a bit greedy on your offlaner, Legion Commander is the offlaner I usually go for. If I want to have a greedy, like if I look at the enemy's safe lane and see like, okay, I can have a greedy offlaner, this is the first hero I think about. If the lane is not gonna benefit her, I'm not gonna pick her. Oops, there was the Facebook sound. But I got sidetracked there. So basically, if they have like too much damage on the lane, Legion Commander won't be able to stay there. But if she can out DPS, let's say it's a dual lane and a jungler in the enemy team, they go like a Vengeful Spirit Spectre lane with Enigma jungle, like super greedy, then this hero works fine because Vengeful Spirit can't trade with Legion Commander decently. And if they try lane and I still want to go with the Legion Commander, I usually pick up a Dazzle or like Abaddon to go with the Legion Commander, and I have a less safe lane in this case. But that's pretty much as greedy offlaner as you can get. Some people would say that Earthshaker is a pretty greedy offlaner, but I want to say otherwise. He's a pretty, like, okay, the offlane is lost, just get Earthshaker there to get some experience because we can't win it anyway, hero, kinda. So other heroes that are kinda unique to the offlane, like has unique scenarios they could be picked in. It's like if you wanna decrease, this is something I've tried. If you wanna decrease the enemy's safe lane's experience as much as possible, if like, let's say the enemy team has a, okay, I can't come up with a hero that is right now, but you don't want them to get experience. Like that's the main concern. Like you don't want them to have experience. You can get Tiny, and you toss the creep camp on towards the creep wave, and you pull it. You pull the offlane basically in that scenario. It's pretty good. And if that's not enough for you, you can go with where is it? Oh, that's the wrong hero. You can go with a Lich also, and you have a sacrifice that's gonna decrease their experience even more and do the creep Illigram in your benefit. It's a pretty unique way of playing the offlane. You can also play an aggressive tri-lane on the offlane. Aggressive tri-lane is when you put 3 heroes on the enemy safe lane and try to harass them out of their safe lane because you know they can't transition to their offlane. I often do this when I face a Spectre because it's really important to stop a Spectre early for her to not like snowball. So in aggressive tri lane you can go a hero like Chaos Knight. He has a good catch with Reality Rift. You can go Luna, where Luna has a good passive for offlane. Or aggressive tri-lane, sorry, because it's basically just bonus damage. So at level 2, they all the 3 heroes in your lane get face boots, like the damage from face boots, pretty good. And supports are good for this is Shadow Demon, Vengeful Spirit. Let's see, where's Vengeful? There we go. Vengeful Spirit is pretty good for this because he has Wave of Terror. That's pretty early armor reduction is actually more useful than you can think, or like the most people think. Yeah, so heroes like that is good on aggressive tri-lane. and then I just go with a Viper or something on the safe lane so they can't rotate. Pretty decent stuff, but this is basically what I think about when I pick offlaners or how I draft around offlaners and stuff like that. I hope this video was useful and that it wasn't too much cringe. I want to thank you for watching and that you will have a good day. Thank you.